Hey up, y'all. Fruity here. If any of you who, and I know not a lot of you did, but for those who did, welcome to 2025. Last year I did a 2024 Lolcow Predictions video, and I know it didn't do well, but sometimes a video doesn't need to do well for it to be a good video. And looking back at that video, a lot of things I was right about, a lot of things I was wrong about. Today isn't that day for me me to go into what I was right about and what I was wrong about, but rather for me to make a predictions video of what the Lolcows are going to be doing in 2025. We're gonna start with Josh Block because along with some predictions right now, I'm gonna give y'all some updates that will probably relate into my predictions. I know the literal video I made before this was called Josh Block Breakup with Mr. Based, but at this current moment, Josh is back with Based and they are streaming again. So, as for what Josh is going to be doing, here's some of my predictions. The most likely to happen is he's going to have a freak out to end all freakouts. It might be with Mr. Based, it might be in public. Who knows where it's going to be, but it's going to be Josh's biggest freak out ever. I guarantee that's going to happen. Someone's going to either say, put the fries in the bag to Josh, or they're going to do something to him. I don't know what they're going to do, but the resulting freak out is going to topple the Daniel Larson Panera incident. In terms of being sheer anger and losing his mind. Less likely to happen is Josh is going to cut back on the drinking. Now, I know Josh likes to get drunk, and Base likes Josh to be drunk. But the reality is that Josh won't be around much longer to be Base cash cow if he doesn't cut back on the drinking at least a little. Alright? So, I don't really think that's gonna happen, but eventually one day Mr. Base is gonna look at Josh and see how poorly his body is doing and realize that his cash cow is gonna be going out the window, and he's either gonna dump Josh or he's gonna actually take care of Josh. Whatever Base does, who knows. Now, here's something that I don't think is gonna happen at all. Now, Josh Block has been on a little bit of his own love quest, if you will. Now, I don't really think Josh actually wants a girlfriend. In fact, most of the time when he's around girls, he's just complaining about his Gucci belt and how they're being racist towards him. Either way, Josh, for some reason, has been out in the dating scene for a while, and him getting a girlfriend at all, even if it's fake and some she's being pimped from Mr. Based. We know his history. We know he did it with the mayor of New York. Like that with one of his women of the night. So it's not going to surprise me at all if Base hooks up Josh like that. Alright? Cyrax. The Lolcow that a lot of you were probably wondering what I think is going to happen with him this year. Well, to look forward we have to look to the past. And recently in Cyrax's past, on livestream, he shit his pants with his mic on, and he went to cry to his grandma with the mic on still and the auto-tune on. Now, this is a golden Cyrax moment, and this goes into my prediction of he will never let this down. This is something that once it happens, it's never gonna leave your past. All right, there's just some things where if you do them, you're never going to hear the end of it. For Cyrax, this is one of them. A less likely thing to happen with Cyrax is he leaves the house again. I know. Big shock. Why do I think Cyrax is gonna leave the house again? Well, according to some leaks I heard recently, the family Cyrax is in might be considering moving, or not the family he's in, just his grandma and Ed, and they're probably gonna take Cyrax with them. And you know how bad Cyrax is. He's gonna actually leave the house. People are gonna spot the goblin on the street and do all sorts of wacky hijinks. Now, here's the thing I think is least likely to happen, but it's still gonna happen. Cyrax's house is gonna become become a pilgrimage, like the Sonichu Temple pilgrimage, where Weens went to Chris Chan's house and did set a bunch of things in his front yard and driveway just to get his attention, only for at most Chris to walk out of the house, yell, and then go back in. For Cyrax, this is probably going to be the thing that happens. The Goblin Pilgrimage, it's definitely, I think it's going to become a thing if people are dedicated enough. Cyrax is starting to become a big enough cow to the point where it's probably gonna. And the thing I don't think it happens at all is the stop of the cycle of Cyrax. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, Cyrax's current channel is somehow still up. He hasn't taken it down, and he's still uploading to it as of this moment. So maybe for once in Cyrax's life, he's going to stick with the channel, and he's not going to lose the login to it or make a new one or whatever. I don't know why he's done that to channels that are somehow still up when he's a popular enough cow to keep them alive. But either way, Cyrax, the stop of the cycle of Cyrax leaving the internet and coming back with a new channel and being like, "Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Cyrax." On like some new channel, it's gonna stop. It could stop, but I don't think it's gonna. Eventually, Cyrax is gonna lose that channel and go make a new one. It could happen literally the day this video comes out. Who knows? Now, in case you might notice a little bit of a trend with this video, but I think 2025 is going to be the year where gender equality within the lolcow space becomes a thing. And what I mean by that is female lolcows are going to get their time in the spotlight. That's not one of my predictions for this one, though. No. What Gail Cord Schuler is going to do, the most likely thing to happen, is she's going to have a massive on-camera freak out. Like you know, it's totally in Gail's nature for her to do that. But last year she didn't, and I didn't get to put her in to the Lolcow Predictions 2024 video. So, well, here you go, Gail. Here's your time in the spotlight. You're kind of a main cow now. A less likely thing to happen is the trolls go public with all the weird stuff she said. Now, I know Gail has a Discord server. There has to be the trolls in there have to be absolutely wild. I would love all of whatever's going on in there to go public and see the wild things Gail posts. But either way, it would be funny. And the thing I think is least likely to happen is the trolling ramps up with Gail. Now, Gail trolls aren't normal trolls. They're not malicious, but they do go out of their way to make her say and do strange stuff on camera. And eventually the cat's gonna get out of the bag that this person whose mind isn't all there and has done some pretty suspicious things is completely ripe for trolling and doing all that kind of stuff with. So, well, I think that's going to happen to Gail. A returning member from last year's Lolcow Predictions video, and someone who people actually probably wanted to see in this video, Chris Chan. Now, here's what I think is going to happen to Chris in 2025. I think we're actually going to find out if this Flutter person is his actual girlfriend or not, because maybe they're just hanging out or something. But given the fact that Chris has been seen with her in a foreign country, I'm thinking that she's actually gonna be a romantic interest of Chris's. That's something I think we're gonna finally this year find concrete proof of it being true or not. Less likely to happen is Chris is gonna actually have a freak out on live stream. It's what's been missing from the Chris Chan Lolcow story these days is Chris doesn't seem to be having freakouts or whatever on Twitter as much. And it just goes to show, well, to me at least, that an on-camera freakout, it would probably boost Chris Chan's awareness by the public more. As right now, all Chris is doing is posting on Twitter and the occasional live stream where Weens donate to him to get him to say the funny thing. And the least likely thing to happen at all is we get a public sighting from Chris on video from someone who isn't taking a Finding Bigfoot-esque picture. And here we are, the final segment, Tofiachu. Someone who I'm yet to cover on this channel, but don't you worry your little fluffy butts, because soon there will be a Tofiachu video up on this channel. I don't know when it's going to be, because a lot of the cows are doing interesting things right now, but there will be a Tofiachu video, I can guarantee that. The most likely thing to happen with Tofia, though, is they're going to lose the car and go full homeless. A lot of you may be thinking that, if you're living in a car, you're already fully homeless. But you see, here's the thing about having a car. It's still a place that has walls and a roof. It's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. An apartment or a house is a massive upgrade from a car. Heck, even a little small trailer. But you really don't know what it's like to be fully homeless until you're sleeping on a park bench or in an elevator with some bums. A less likely thing to happen is that Tofia is going to get arrested. Now, why would I think this? Well, Tofia is a pretty suspicious character. She goes out into public a lot to do things, and the family's car is disgusting. It's constantly surrounded by all I'm going to say is bodily fluids from her mom. It's quite the nasty sight, but either way, it's going to be something that I think could happen to either person in the car. And the thing I don't think is going to happen at all with Tofia, this is the least likely thing to happen. She's going to reunite with the rest of her family. Her, Papa Chew, Brother Chew, Mama Chew, they're all going to get together and have a nice grand old time. Well, I don't think Tofia is that kind of person to do it. Even though, let's be honest, everyone wants to see that. Everyone loves Papa Chew. Papa Chew is by far the better cow than Tofia is, even though Tofia has most of the action going on these days and most of the time. But either way, a Slidell family reunion would be rather nice. Well, that's my Lolcow predictions for 2025. Man, feels weird saying that still. Maybe it won't next year in 2026. Have a wonderful year, everyone.